What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Scalability Podcast. And today I got my older brother, F, fresh out the pinta.
Not yet, not yet.
Nah, not actually. So, a lot of you guys have been wondering, friends, family, colleagues, people we went to high school with. I swear, bro, I cannot go through this city. A couple of times a week, I get asked, "Where's Efren?" My name is Anthony. Welcome to the Scalability Podcast. Oh my God, that Where's he been? It's like he disappeared. What is he doing nowadays? Is he still at that barbershop? Does he still got Remix open? Where I see his wife on social media. Where's he? Right?
Yeah.
So, can you catch the folks up on what's going down?
Yeah. You mind if I start us off in a little prayer?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Father, in the name of Jesus, God, I just thank you for salvation. I thank you for the message of the gospel. God, I thank you for life, for opportunity, for health. Thank you for family. And just thank you for the journey. And God, we just invite you into this podcast, that your spirit will flow, God, and that the people that need to hear this, God, that will touch them in a way that will move in their hearts, and that you'll move, God, and that you'll be glorified in all this. In the name of your son, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, and that's powerful, man, because just so you guys know, I asked F, like, is there anything that is off limits today during today's podcast? And he has agreed to just be 100% vulnerable with us. So, yeah, man, let's go.
First and foremost, man, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful where I'm at in my life and this journey. But I took a break and a timeout on life, and I felt like that was a part of me to show myself some love, right? And but anyways, I went away. I am away. I had a program called the Central Valley Teen Challenge, and I needed to take a time out and recalibrate and find myself, and also reestablish my relationship with God. And being there, it was a 1-year commitment, and to teach you biblical truths, and they have counselors there and help you out to look inside and see who you are. You know, I've been stuck in substance abuse since I was 18. I'm 33 now, and I would try to get clean and sober, and I would do good for a while, and I didn't know why I would go back, and so I took this opportunity to leave town. I skipped out and I went to Fresno, and I needed to get out of town, and I'm glad I did, because on the third day I was like, man, if I had my phone in my wallet, I'd been out. I've been gone, because this is hard.
Yeah.
But I went over there, took a break from life, and just kind of surrendered everything. Life, kids, family, career, and took it as an opportunity to learn about myself, because I've been stuck in my cycle for so long, and I didn't know why. And there, in this process, in this journey, I've learned that I had so much rage, so much anger, so much pain in my heart, from our upbringing to things that happened to us, for us, and things that we just didn't understand. And I'm coming to a place of knowing who I am, but also, just as importantly, knowing who I'm not, right? Because society will try to cultivate you to be someone. It'll sell you a lifestyle. It'll sell you a mindset. And for me personally, I just felt like I bought into what the world wanted me to be, right? So I sought out. Are we going straight into this?
Yeah. Actually, I do want to hear more, right? But for those who are listening, right, like when you say substance abuse, can you like be a little more specific, right?
Okay.
Because there's people who are listening to this, right, who know you, and when they, hear the name Efren and they think of substance abuse, like it's like the two could never exist in their minds, right? And like especially like for me, like when I get asked questions, I'm like, man. I'm like, hey, he's currently right now like going through rehab, and people are like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what do you? How? Who? Efren? My Efren? The Efren I went to school with? That Efren? Like, no, right? So like, and this also goes to show like, for everybody, right? Like, because our family has had a hard time going through this. Your wife and kids have had to like go through this, and this right here. There are people who we look at and we would never think like, oh man, this person has a problem, right? Or they're dealing with these things. And here you are, right? So can you go a little more into detail?
It's a variety of things really, but the one that was really consuming my life was opiates, right? Started off with an injury and getting prescribed meds, narcos to oxy to then fentanyl, morphine, and at that point it just became anything that would alter my mind. You know, anything that if the bottle read may cause drowsiness, run it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I would snort pills. And just try to get my hands on anything that would alter my mind and suppress everything that I didn't even know was there. I knew I felt these things from anxiety to anger, rage, unhappiness and whatnot. But opiates is one that almost took me down. Yeah. But God had a different plan for me.
That's right. Yeah, and guys, like this is, and also because, if F is being vulnerable, so am I, right? Drugs for us when we were younger, I feel like it was pretty normal, for us to always have drugs around, right? Yeah. So, I mean, this, is there something you want to say? Because
no, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so nobody, I don't know what it was, man. I don't know what it was, but like when we were younger, especially like when we would go party. Okay, I guess like from my perspective, right, as your younger brother, right, like I knew that we would go party, we would do coke, we would do Molly, we would smoke, we would drink, we would do these things, but at that time, like for me, it was fun, right? Now, because like coke, for example, I feel like if I was ever addicted to anything, it was cocaine, right? But when the money ran out, cocaine ran out. Yeah. Like you just can't get more. It's very expensive, right? And we always had the rule of like, no meth. Like meth is not good. Right. Meth is bad. We got raised better than that, basically, right? Yeah. Whatever the fuck that means.
Better, quote unquote, better
than that. But thank God we didn't get into meth because meth is cheap. It's very easily accessible. Man. But yeah, man. So now coming back to to you, like nobody knew. Yeah. Nobody knew.
Sure, I barely even knew. You know what I mean? Like I started at 18 due to an injury, and at that time it wasn't a epidemic like it is right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? All I had to do was text people on my phone, like, who got pain pills? Who got pain pills? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, people that went to go get their molars taken out, that had dentist work, that sprained their ankles were getting Norcos, Percocets, and I remember at the age of 23, I tried to, because I've always been an athletic, and
mm-hmm. That's right. You were always an athlete. Yep. You've been a soccer player since your dad had you.
Yeah, for like 7 years, right? Man. Yeah. And so at 23, I tried to stop taking them, and I realized how sick I would get. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, crap, like I'm addicted to this stuff. Mm-hmm. But I didn't even think that it was anything crazy. I thought of drugs as of like heroin, meth, right? Powder, hardcore in the needle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought of drugs. And so I didn't think too much of it. 23, I acknowledged that I couldn't get off of it. It wasn't an issue yet because they were still cheap to free, right? Then eventually they started becoming a hot commodity.
Yeah. Like people started figuring out, like,
I started figuring it out.
Yeah, because I remember, like, dude, like, I was talking to somebody who sold them. They were like $30, $40 a pill.
Eventually
They got there.
That's where,
I remember thinking, like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, people are paying this much for these pills.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of people wing off of pills and just go straight into shooting up. You know,
it's pretty much the same thing, right? Like, oxycodone is like a synthetic heroin.
Well, oxy is just it's made, right? Like, I mean, I couldn't really tell you too much about it, but it's a script, right? So it's like it's professionally made, and what the script says it is, that's what it is, right? Whereas a street drug, you get a street drug, you get a bag, and you don't know how much to shoot up, you don't know how much to snort, smoke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You never know what's in it.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember we were at a rave one time in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you were like telling me, like, dude, don't buy anything from anybody. But me being like young, I was like, no.
Do you remember that time when we were sitting down because we were going so hard, and this dude comes and drops a cigarette?
Dude.
And we look at each other, and I don't know if we paused and said no.
No, dude, I was about to light it up, and you took it away from me, and then you like started opening it and looking inside of it.
And then dude comes back.
Like tweaking.
And he says, don't smoke it. It has PCP.
Yeah, but like you guys have to realize, like, it's like like
yeah.
You know, we're like sitting in like in the back row in like some place in Frisco, and like, you know, this dude, but he's like tweaking, he comes back, he's like, don't smoke that. It's got like I was like, oh man. But that same night though, I didn't listen to you, and I ended up buying a pill. It was a yellow monkey from some dude in the bathroom. Yeah, I didn't. Well, you knew it when I wouldn't sleep for the next 3 days, right? Because like the moment that the pill hit my tongue,
man.
Like I remember my whole throat went numb, and I was like, damn. But like in the moment, I'm like, oh man, this is the greatest like or ecstasy I've ever had. But dude, I was like throwing up and yakking for 3 days, and it's like. So coming back to your point,
but
you don't know what's in these drugs. That drug could have easily taken my life that night.
Yeah.
Especially like back then, fentanyl wasn't really like something people worried about.
I don't even think I'm not even sure if it was even out at that time. I'd never heard it up until these recent years.
Yeah.
You know, probably the last 5 years you hear of fentanyl, and right now, man, beating the program, man, you hear people leaving because of petty stuff, and they go out and take another hit and they've died. You know, probably like six to 8 people that I've heard die from just leaving, going back, and I remember even before coming into the program, overdosing twice.
Yeah.
You know, and I was used to snorting like 10 to 15 pills a day throughout the whole day.
Wow.
And I picked up, and I was driving home. I don't know if Anais had mentioned this, but I picked up, I snorted one. And you know the 680 and the 280 when you're going 101 north. Yeah. I somehow ended up over there across from Gruyente.
Yeah. So you ended up going to the right.
Yeah, and I blacked out.
Oh.
And
she mentioned something like this.
Yeah.
Where she found you in a car.
Well, no. So she found me in the bathroom.
Okay. Okay.
But this one, I was facing a wall, and the people were honking at me, and ambulance and fire department was pulling up. And I woke up, and I was like, what the heck? And people were just like honking at me, and I was like, what the heck happened? Like, where am I?
Yeah.
And tripping out. And that was just one. And like I said, I was used to snorting 10 to 15 a day. And
that's when you came out of rehab. Or
I don't even remember, bro. It's been so many times in and out.
Well, I could imagine like so someone goes and they go through their withdrawals. They're off for 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
And then they go back and they try to do the dose.
Their tolerance goes down.
And then they end up getting.
Yeah.
Right.
They try to take the same rip, and but at this time I'm still like, man. I don't know. Just like even if I were to do something now, your tolerance is still pretty up there. Your body's used to it. But the drugs are just getting worse. And my point is in saying that is like this drug is just getting worse. You know what I'm saying? Fentanyl. There's videos out there that like there's grains of salt, a grain of salt of just being around it, inhale, like just handling it, right? People can die, you know, and that's how bad it is. And they're putting this in cannabis, that they're spraying it on cannabis and vape pens, you know, cigarettes. They're putting it in meth, you know, because it's an addictive, opiate's an addictive chemical, you know, is your feel good.
Yeah.
You know?
So fentanyl is an opiate then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know as far as its background, how it's produced or manufactured.
Yeah.
But it's just all it takes is a grain of salt.
And you've had fentanyl?
Yeah.
What was your first experience like?
Well, that was because Oxy got pulled from the market, so it's just a replica of Oxy, and they just put fentanyl in it because it is an opiate. But remember the first time that I tried it, it was way stronger. Like normally if I take an Oxy, I'll probably need like 3 hits, probably 3 pills to snort to get a cool buzz. Whereas the fentanyl pill, all I needed was the same size, same density, 1 hit, 1 snort, and I was cool for a minute. You know, so if I was already at level 10, fentanyl took me to a level 20.
Wow.
You know, and it's just crazy, man. Like I did some research on it, and it's a fast acting opiate, so it goes through you. So that's why I was snorting 10 to 15 a day. Like I needed one like every hour, every 2 hours, you know, just snorting it.
So coming like if we also like go back to like the barbershop days, right? Because I remember like there was a time where I was like, yeah, my brother, he works 12-hour days. He sells his lunches. He's a hustler. Yeah. I didn't even realize. Like,
I didn't even realize. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize that I was doing this to myself. You know, it was just something that I did. You know.
So okay, see, and again, this is, you know, I was around you all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like, oh, my brother's getting kind of skinny. In my mind, I'm like, you look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's working all day. He's not eating lunch. Like he's
like packs of Red Bulls and 5-hour shots and pills.
Yeah, know? It didn't register in my mind.
Yeah, well, because we didn't, like, if it was like, if you seen a bag of Coke and you see me snorting, you'd be like, okay, something's going on. Like, all right, bro, like, slow down, bro.
Yeah,
but you see pills, it's like, all right, well it's kind of legal.
His back hurts.
It's
prescribed.
Yeah, right.
He's been in accidents.
So you don't think of it.
Yeah.
You don't really put much thought into it.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to reiterate too, like, I want to make sure that what we talk about it's gonna help give a warning. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could happen to anybody. You know, your kids, your nephews, nieces. Like, it's important that we educate the youth, man. Educate the people. You know, that this stuff is out there. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts with a small compromise of I'll try it, or being around the wrong crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, man, I've been seeing over this past, 10 months, like, I've been seeing people just drop, you know, like, I just see people just drop from this stuff, you know?
For those who don't know what drop means, he means dead.
They're dead. Yeah, they're gone.
They dead. They ain't coming back.
R.I.P., you know? And it's sad, man. Matter of fact, I'm a driver over there at the program, and this dude got dismissed for not wanting a bottle because he was too ashamed to admit and you know, that he was using on campus. And we had to go drop him off. I went to go drop him off somewhere, and he chose a particular area that serves this, serves it, whatever. And he's telling me, like, I'm finna go use. And I think what hurt me the most, man, is like, I understood the pain, I understood the anger, the rage, because he got dismissed, and he was ashamed to admit that, yeah, I did use. And that led him to being dismissed simply because he didn't want to do a test, right? A drug test. Yeah. And on the way to dropping him off, he's like, I was challenging, like, bro, please, man, like, don't, like, this could be your last time, bro. And he's like, all right, effort, let's go. And I called the center, and I was like, hey, I'm bringing him back. He's gonna piss. He's and they're like, it's too late. Tell him to reapply in 30 days. And it wasn't the program's fault, you gotta hold people accountable too, so it's like, it's a balance, but it was sad for me because I knew what he was gonna go do, and he, I pray that everything went well with him and that he gets another chance and he reapplies in 30 days. But, people are just dropping like flies off this stuff, man. And it's sad. Like I had to take him. It's like I felt like I took him to the slaughterhouse.
Wow.
That's what it felt like. I stayed in the parking lot and I grieved for like 10 minutes, man. Like just sad, like it sucks, bro. But I just gotta trust God.
All right. So there's a moment I remember, like, okay, so when you made the decision, because I remember, like, the first time I heard that you were gonna go away for a year, and I remember, like, when you think about a year, it's like, oh my God, how's my family gonna do it without me, right? Like, what, like, you think that it's impossible to go away for a year.
Yeah.
That's like going through, like, because even me, like, when I heard you were going away from here, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy though? It's like that's how we know God is good.
Yeah.
Because look, you've been away for a year, and you've been becoming I'm not gonna say a better person because you're already a great person. These drugs never made you a bad person. You were not you were not a bad person ever. But there's no but. And while you were going through it, your wife grew. Your kids are great. Dude, your kids are freaking awesome, phenomenal children. And then, we just had breakfast this morning, right? Like, and just so for those of you who don't know, like he's Efren is not out yet. You're going to be out in your graduation from the program is in August, right? So today, basically these last, you get 3 or 4 days?
I get 3 days.
3 days. So it's Anais' birthday.
Yeah.
Right. So he's out here visiting her. But so there's times where we run into situations where we think like, oh man, like for some people it might be going away for to rehabilitate yourself. For some people it might be like, oh man, I got to go back to school for how many years or for how much time, or I got to sacrifice for how much time. Yeah. And in your mind, it freaks you out. But like, that's something that I'm really starting to learn is like, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for to start off, like it was life or death. I knew that if I stayed out here, I eventually was going to end up back in the same situation. And, I knew that after this last time I had went to detox, things were just falling apart. My Anais, she didn't leave me as far as being married and together, but she left she went to go protect the kids and her own, like it was hard to see somebody like that who's just destroying their life.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot of negative repercussions as a partner, right? Yeah, she as a woman, she put the kids first.
Yeah,
right.
And,
yeah,
you know what I mean. And she I was so mad, but at the same time, I'm just so proud that she made this decision. But she read this book called Boundaries or something like that, and she drew a boundary.
Yeah,
and she's like, I love you, but I can't sit here and watch you ruin your life. So she drew a boundary. She went to go live at her mom's. And I was like, I'll be all right. I'm getting high, right? Nah, when Kanye says something, he says, is a house really a home when your loved ones is gone? I had a whole house to myself and in a good area, nice area. I had drugs. And when they bounced, I was like, man, like I felt so dead, so empty inside. Went to go detox and whatnot. What was I saying? How do we lead to that?
So we were talking about so Anais and boundaries. We were talking about oh God, I can't remember.
Let's see.
Because I know where I want to go with this conversation. I can't.
But the year, right?
The year, right. Yeah.
Don't do drugs, guys.
Yeah, don't. Sometimes I wonder, bro. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like my memory's so bad. Like, did I just like snort like that much coke and like do that much Molly where like I damaged my brain like that? Because I doubt that the cannabis did it, even though we smoked a lot. But like, I don't think it was the cannabis.
But it was life or death. right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go do this, and I need to take this time to learn who I am. I've been using since I was 18. I played sports and had people around me my entire high school career, and at 18 I started really going hard and drinking, smoking, and so I suppressed so much that when I became sober, I didn't know how to deal with the anger, the rage, and face these mountains, face these demons, face these things in my heart that were causing me to react and respond with consuming something. And so I took the year to go and find myself, and along the way, God met me where I was at and revealed things to me, about myself. And so, yeah, it was a very hard, difficult thing. And initially, truth is, I was like, all right, a year. I'm gonna go a year. But once I got there, bro, like you can ask people at the center. I was hot for like a month. I didn't talk to nobody. I was ready to pop off on people. I was grieving. I was sad.
You were withdrawing.
I was no, I had already went to detox.
Oh, you went to detox and then went to the program. Okay.
And I was grieving, for what I knew life to be, right? On my own accord, self-employed, moved on. When I want to move, I move. When I, you know what I mean? And so it was a sacrifice. But I knew that if I didn't take this time, invested this time in myself, that I was gonna end up dead. Yeah. Or at least on the street.
So let me ask you this, right? So I want to bring this. I want to bring this back into entrepreneurship because I feel like there is. We don't talk about mental health enough in the entrepreneurship space.
It's huge.
And so before you were even married, let's just go like after high school. Like, dude, you've been through a lot. Especially like with money, you've built up money. Like you've always been really good at saving, right? And stacking. Like you were always like the person who always had it. Like if somebody had like something to get off, like, oh dude, I paid $2,000 for these tires, but I'll take like 300. Like you people would come to you all the time with all these opportunities because they always knew you had money, right? And you were the guy, and you just always had like good deals on cars, on electronics, on like right. So you had always been like that hustler, but when you started getting into like building out your barbershop, there was tremendous pressure, not just with like putting up the money, getting the location, getting hit up by the hood that was across the street from the barbershop, right? Like eventually it came to the point where there was like managing people, and the stress that came with that. But a lot of people don't realize like how traumatic that actually is, right? So do you think that the trauma from being an entrepreneur, do you think it affected you using?
Yeah, for sure. But I think before that, you don't even know how to manage your own life, your own emotion, wounds, traumas, and face those to then now taking on 7 to 14 other personalities and characters and their traumas and their wounds, right? Because they're going to bring that with them to the work. And you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And so it's that viewpoint.
Bringing your daddy issues to the barbershop, and now I'm your daddy.
You know what I mean? Like it's like we all have issues, right? We're all broken people. You feel me? And we don't even realize it. I didn't realize it for so long.
Yeah, because I remember there'd be some days where you call me, you'd be pissed. You'd be like,
"Oh man, yeah." Because and that was and the thing is, that was just fueling the rage. Like the things at work was just fueling the rage that I already had. Yeah. Right. And now it's like if I were to go through something like that again, I'd probably look at it and be like, huh, I feel bad for that person. That person's like projecting how they feel and they're hurting and they don't even know it.
Yeah, I think as we progress, the things that used to bother us don't bother us anymore. It becomes normal. But I think one thing I want to ask is, was the barbershop while you were away or while you've been away for this year, has it been producing income this entire time?
Yeah. I remember throughout my career and like I have known of God since I was 16. I didn't really know God, I just knew of. And I would read the Bible and I would hear the stories and one of the things that I needed to do was I felt like God was telling me to sell my shop so that I can go away for the year and leave that chunk of money for my wife so she can maintain, right? And and not just that, it was my identity. It was who I was, and it's what people knew me for. It's what got me through the doors of places that you typically wouldn't get through, you know.
You are Evergreen Barber F.
You know what I'm saying? I was just consumed and immersed in I don't know if immersed is the right word, but consumed in being a barber. It's who my identity was, how I identified, right? And I felt, and at this time I didn't really know if it was God or not, but I just felt this tug in my heart, like you gotta sell the barbershop, you gotta give it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Nah, heck no. Nah, God, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Tripping, right? But there's this story in the Bible, Abraham and Isaac, where God tells Abraham to go sacrifice his one and only son. It was a miracle for him. It was a promise from God, and because his wife couldn't bear kids, they were already old in age, and so just odds are stacked against them. They got blessed, got a kid, so now it's a miracle baby, right? And he tells them go sacrifice him. And so
this is in the Old Testament.
Old Testament,
okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say, hold on.
I don't know exactly where it's at.
Sound like the New Testament to me. Hold on.
And the point of the story is that God wanted to see if he was gonna put him before God, if he was gonna put Isaac before God. So he goes to the hill or whatever, and right.
I remember this story, and like right before he's about
to just, take him out. God's like, hold up, all right, cool.
Testing him, testing.
Right, and he wanted to see, are you gonna put what I gave you, right, before me?
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of times we do that. We idolize our careers, our wives, our family, our kids, our jobs, finances, whatever. We put something, right, whether it's working out, anything, right? Anything that you put before God is an idol, right? And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go sell the shop. Like I was just like, all right, I gotta do this, right? I gotta leave my wife some money. So I went to go do that, had the first meeting, met up for the second meeting to go sign away the papers and transfer ownership and all that. And then they're like, nah, I'm not gonna, we decided not to. And I was just like confused, like, hold up, we're driving away. I'm a little bit mad, but I'm more confused. Like, yeah, God, like, I thought you told me to sell this. Like, I don't get it. Yeah. What? And so I'm just confused and whatnot. And, but in that process, I was able to detach my heart from the identity of being a barber, of being a shop owner. I was able to give it back to God. I was able to just detach from it, right? And just trust God with whatever he was going to do in my life. Yeah. And that was part of, and that was hard, man. That was a pruning process that started early and I didn't even know it. And so,
so just so for those who know you, are you still the owner of Evergreen Barbershop?
I still own it.
Yeah.
And it's been providing for my wife since I've been in the program. Yeah. And shout out to them too, because they stood there and they're holding it down while I'm away. They could have bounced, right? The leader left, right? They could have bounced and been like, well, so many reasons, but they're still there. And I'm grateful to God for them.
That makes sense. Real quick, could you check and see if that camera's still rolling?
Yeah.
Perfect. Mine is too. Cool. I just want to make sure we need to get a solution for these cameras. But anyways, so yeah, man, that's good, man. Like so it was funny because the other day Anais, Anais, I had called her because I was like, Anais has colored hair, so I wanted to bleach Angel's hair. So I was like, maybe she knows how to bleach hair. So I called her. And I was like, hey, can you bleach Angel's hair? And they were like, and I asked her if she could bleach his hair. She said, I'll make you a deal. She said, I'll bleach Angel's hair if you start taking Angel to Evergreen Barbershop for the haircut. And I said, oh. I was like, wait, you think that I don't go to, like, you think that okay. I told her, I was like, do you think that I really like am not supporting my brother's business like on purpose? Because I was like, no, you have to understand, like, I'm very unloyal when it comes to hair.
Yeah.
Like I'm not loyal when it comes to any barbershop. Actually, you could ask F. Like I used to be the guy who I would sacrifice myself for the new people. But like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys can cut my hair, right? Because I don't care. But I told her, I was like, it's not that I don't want to go to Evergreen Barbershop. It's that every time I'm there, I get asked questions about F. F, 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 F. And I'm like, dude, like, you know, and a big part of me, like up until pretty much like up until like these last couple months, like I didn't like talking about what you were going through, mainly because I wasn't sure the level of privacy you wanted, you know, and it's hard. Like I bump into your cousin at the, you know, I bump into your at the sandwich shop, and you know, I'm like, oh yeah, Efren's in rehab. He's in rehab. Like, you know, like, and just, you know, then she starts telling me stories about his back and how they gave it to God. And, you know, like, I'm like, bro, like, you know, like, and it just like, when I run into stuff like that, I'm like, dude, like, you're telling me this entire story to, you know, what the way that I took it is like, are you saying my brother's not holy enough? Like, that's why he's going what he's going through, and that's why your husband got healed by God and my brother didn't? Like, you know, but I run into shit like that, and I'm like, I don't want to be around that, you know. So I'll go to other barbers so that I don't have to talk about this, because like you know, I already got enough shit that, like, I'm very much aware. Like, there was a long time where I had to come to peace where it's like, damn, my brother could be dead at any time. There's nothing really I could do about it. And there was a long time where we all had to go through that. You know what I mean? Like, where it was like, okay, like, we've all done what we can do for F. Like, we've been there for him. We try to, you know, we are all there, right? So it's like, when you come to that realization, like, okay, God's all he has right now, and he needs professional help, right? It's like, how do you explain that to people? You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a chair for an hour with somebody, and they're asking about you, like, it eventually goes there.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I told her, like, it's not that I don't want to go there. It's that these things, like, bother me. Like, they bother me deeply when we start talking about these things, and it goes down, excuse me, and it goes down that road. So, you know, like, being able to talk to you now, there was times where, like, I just didn't know if you were going to live. So, I haven't cried in a long time. And, you know, this is like one of those things where it's like, you become numb to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You become numb, and you just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it anymore, and you don't want to put yourself in places or situations where you want to talk about it, or I don't want to have to feel like I have to defend you in front of other people. Like, hey, you guys don't get my brother. You don't get his story. You don't get everything that he's been through. You don't understand this shit. Like, why do I got to fucking paint this picture for you guys every single time?
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I told her that. I mean, obviously I didn't get all emotional, but I would love to support the barbers there. I know that, bro, we spend probably like $600 a month on fucking hair. You know what I mean? Like, between me and Angel, shit, we spend like $600 a month. I would love for that to go through Evergreen Barbershop, because I know it goes back to you. But for me, it was like, all right, like, I can't be in this situation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's and that's what I meant earlier. It's like, I know he's had to just, you know, just give me to God and just.
No, and your wife is an amazing woman. She's a strong woman. God bless you with an amazing wife. You are extremely, extremely, extremely blessed to have the wife that you have. And as a family, we have her back 100% this entire time. We've always been there for her, and it won't ever stop. You know, I hope that one day, you know, for Lolo, that if I ever slip and I ever fall and I'm in the wrong, that you guys treat her. Yeah. You know, like, you guys treat her like she's your sister.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
So,
man.
Shit.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, and I know it's not easy. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of other individuals who were close to me that, you know, had to step away. You know, didn't know how to deal with watching me just destroy my life. You know, but I'm grateful for the chance that I got, and that I have, and from my wife that's been a soldier. She's been strong. She's been, you know, I wrote her a letter yesterday for her birthday, and one of the things I said in there was like, I'm so grateful for you for many reasons, but one of them being that my kids still want to be in my life.
Yeah. Oh, they love you so much, man.
Because although she always had the reason to tell them that I was a dirtbag, she never told them otherwise. You know, she could have been like, no, your dad sucks, your dad this and that, but she didn't, you know. And the relationship that I have with my kids, and, you know, they used to be a burden to me, and now I see them as an opportunity, as a blessing. You know,
Yeah.
they're my accountability, you know.
I don't know what part of the Bible, but it says, you know, children are gifts.
Yeah, man.
Children are gifts, and treat them like such, right? Because I know with, you know, for Angel, like for the longest time, I felt like he was a burden. You know,
Yeah.
I felt that way, and that's I think especially for, you know, when we grow up in these situations where we come from broken homes,
Yeah.
when we weren't settled financially, when we weren't mature mentally and spiritually,
Yes. Yeah.
and we get put into these situations, it's like we don't understand that our children are gifts, you know.
Yeah.
And then now it's like with Angel, man, like I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
Like my heart, like every time I get to see him play sports, every time I see him socially interact and make a new friend, every time like I see him in his greatness, I'm like, oh man, you're gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
You're gonna be better than I ever could be.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing too, man. And honestly, man, like I know you've expressed that I've been through a lot, but you know, I could say the same thing about yourself, bro. You know, growing up without a father, you know, just him promising to meet you and flaking, and there was a lot of pain there, and
I met him.
Yeah, I heard. I was kind of just what?
I met him, and I was like, when I met him, I met him on Cinco de Mayo. I was out partying in SoCal, and I met him, and first thing I thought to myself was like, damn, you short. Like I'm like, you know, and it's funny because, you know, like he's probably like a little bit maybe shorter than Mom.
Yeah.
And I've met you know, my sister's mom, who, you know, Jazari, and I think her mom's taller than our mom,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then I met the mom of my brothers that, you know, like the three brothers that I discovered in San Jose.
Oh, right.
And their mom's like really tall. Their mom's probably like a little taller than Lolo.
Yeah,
And I'm like, God, I'm like, damn, bro, like who is this guy? So I actually ended up finding out that he has 10 kids. 10 kids from, I believe, 7 different women.
Wow.
10 kids and 7 different women. Yeah. It was you know, it is what it is. It was something where like I had been, you know, holding that in for the longest time. And I just decided to, you know, I was like, you know, it's time. Right.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity came, I was like, I just hit him up and I'm like, yo, if you want to meet me here, I am. And, you know, he was just like making all these promises again. I'm like, dude, he's like, oh, your son likes the 49ers. Like, you know, I got this thing. And I'm like, hey, look, don't ever promise me anything ever again.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in my life, like you have very little chances with me. Like I don't need you for anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want you for anything. Right. Obviously he had like a very big desire to know Angel. Like that was like his big, like, oh, I want to know my grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, so I basically just like told him like, hey dude, like you ain't got much, you don't have chances. So, pretty much don't tell me you're going to do something. Just do it.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, like, dude, I think next time I'm down there, like I might like plan something where, you know, Angel and I can go visit him and, you know, hang out with him for a day or something.
Yeah.
But, nah, man, all that grows character because like, I remember like, you know, when it came time for when Angel came into my life, it was like a thing like, okay, well, am I going to let this kid, you know, be without a dad? And it was like, no way.
Yeah.
No
That was one of the things that kept me grounded too, bros. When I being in the program, going through it for a few months, is like, I have an opportunity, a chance to change my entire lineage by me holding it, like fighting through staying, because there's many times, and there still is times, you know, I'm in my 10th month out of 12, and, you know, you still think like, like things get to you and you're like, I want to bounce.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, I have an opportunity to change my lineage, my kids, be there for them, you know, and be a good father, learn how to be a good father, learn how to be a good husband, a friend, you know, and balance all that out, you know.
Well, you know, let's talk a little bit about like the future, and you know, your graduation's in August.
Yeah.
So you're going to graduate. You know, we just had breakfast at your house this morning. You come home to a beautiful house. Family's all put together. Like, you know, you got the shop, right? Things are on the up and up for your marriage. What's coming next? Like, what should we look forward to?
You know, I'm still positioned in my heart that I'm good with selling the shop, and moving on. But I'm going to wait to see what God does when I get out. You know, since I got in the program, I've been asking God, like, God, give me vision, give me dreams, help me, give me a glimpse of my future, of what did you purposely design me for, you know? And that's when he starts showing me myself, what's in my heart, you know, and I have a big heart. I love to serve. I love people. You just don't like all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough, right?
Yeah.
But the Bible in John 13:34 says, new command I give you, you know, love one another as I have loved you. So that they'll know that people will know that you're my disciples, you know, and the Bible is all over the Bible. Love one another, be devout to one another, love, 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 love. Love covers a multitude of sins. And, you know, look at God. Sometimes he disciplines those he loves, right? So love isn't this pretty picture that society paints. It's both. It's the building up, but also the rebuke of like and correcting you.
Yeah.
Because I love to serve, when I got on probation in the program, and they put you back in the first building that you come in. That's where you detox. That's where all the new folks is at, you know, and I got the opportunity to, during my probation, serve these brothers that were coming in, you know, kicking drugs, didn't have clothes, their hair was long. The ones that did have clothes needed them to needed to be washed, getting them blankets, pillows, socks, soap, shoes, serve. Yeah. Right? What did Christ do? He came to serve. He came to serve people that were sick. He came for the sick, he says, you know. And that's me, man. He chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. And my action shows a lot of foolishness. You know, he came for me. He came for us to love on us, you know. And I just feel God's love so much. Like, one of the ways is like, how do you go to would you invite somebody to stay at your house in the Bay Area, especially for 12 months for free, feed them, house them, discipline them, spend time with them, hear their problems, help them hit their goals for free, and expect nothing in return?
No.
Right?
No, you're
like if that's not, if me going to a program that's free, that's going to house me, bring me around a bunch of other brothers that understand my background, where I come from, right? Because if you're trying to talk to somebody and explain your story and they don't understand you, like how can we relate? Yeah. You know, the Bible says that Jesus has adopted us back into sonship with the Father. You know, he's brought us into a family. And in our younger days, we sought out love and family and acceptance in gangs and women and you know, sports, and you know. Yeah. And like, I feel called to help the next brother come up. Like, bro, like, what can I do to help you get out of your situation? Like, go out to the streets.
Well, let's start now, because the people who are listening to this, like, they've, you know, now they kind of understand more of your situation, a little bit more about our relationship, right? Yeah. So let's start now. Somebody's listening to this right now, and they have aspirations to, you know, have what you have, right? They want to, or even what I have, right? We both have businesses that, whether we work or not, generate money, right? You also are a real estate investor, right? You and your wife have owned properties,
Yeah.
and you guys are flipping. And I know that you guys are planning on buying apartments, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, no, hopefully, it's done. It's done for you already. Yeah.
You know, everything I do moving forward is like, God, how can I glorify you? How can I show and reflect what you've done in my life? You know, I'm like, God, you put this business mentality, this motivation, this hunger, but you also gave me a big heart. So moving forward, I know you didn't put all these things in me for my selfish selfish gains, but how can I help the next man through doing the real estate investing, building businesses? Because over there I learned that there's businesses that we keep the doors open, right? Because it's free to us, the students that stay there, but there's still bills, right?
Yeah.
So we find businesses that will donate, and we'll help them out. We'll go do work for them. Like if it's landscape, we'll go mow lawns, and they'll pay us versus a random person. But I'm like, all right, guys. So I'm gonna build businesses and help people get off the street. We're gonna buy real estate, and somehow house people that need help. You know what I'm saying? It's not just for me and my family anymore. Like, how can I build my kingdom? Like, God, how can I help you build yours? And I'm just a tree planted by the river that just benefits from the water that's just streaming through my life. You know what I'm saying?
Love that. So, again, coming back to like somebody wants to get started now.
Yeah.
They're, let's talk to a barber because that's what you know very well, right?
Yeah.
So there's a barber who eventually wants to open a barbershop. Let's talk about like what are the mistakes that they can avoid? What should they be thinking about? Like how do they set this up?
I think that if you can go from taking the spotlight off yourself and providing value to the barber or the customer hand over fist, meaning if you're getting paid $40, give them $100 worth of service. And
so how do you do that?
Find that that's something that you're gonna have to try to figure out and see what you're willing to do, right? So like one thing that you can do is like the massage gun, right? You give the haircut and then you just hit them with a massage gun, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't even charge them for it. Like this is just part of the service. Shampoo their hair.
Yeah.
Right. Even conversing with them, like, what's up, man? How's your week? What's the next move? Like, what's the goal? How's your family? Right. I think that's still value, right? 'Cause
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You're caring for them emotionally too.
Yeah.
And
so basically create an experience that other people are not willing to create.
Add value.
I remember when we went to New York, and you and I were in New York, and there was like this barber shop that was like downstairs, like in a basement or something, like in a New York basement, and we're just passing by. You really didn't need a haircut, but we're like, let's test this out.
Oh yeah. Will you give me like a lineup or something?
It was like it was an older dude, but like the thing is, like I remember he gave you like this massage.
Oh yeah.
He gave you this massage, and I remember thinking like, damn.
Yeah, and he did the hot lather on my neck.
Yeah.
He did hot lather on my neck, and I was like, oh wow, that was lit.
That's not happening in San Jose.
Yeah, it's not very common.
Yeah.
But as far as a barbershop owner, it's provide value for your barbers, right? I try to adopt the thought of like, you're not a barbershop owner without your barbers, and the barbers are not barbers without clients. Right. So you got to put the client first. And me personally, from what I've learned over the years is, provide value to your barbers, right? Whether it's neck strip, these are things that have happened in my shop, right? Neck strips, provide that, the marketing, little things, take care of them, There's one other thing that got brought up. Toilet seat covers, right? I was at that time, I was like, I'm gonna do that. Like, if you want that, bring it yourself, right? But it's like little things like that, man, that provide value. Like, and not just that. Like, I will turn down a barber that's not gonna contribute to the atmosphere, right? So if you're gonna come in and ruin the atmosphere, like as dope as you are, I just rather not have you there because we have a cool vibe and so a little things like that.
So being a good filter.
You
know what's interesting too? Like there's so much, we talked about like the trauma and pain of like building a business, right?
Yeah.
You had to put up a ton of money. I remember the first summer. I remember the first summer when, you got the place and you had to like put in already like, I don't know, over 30 grand into the place. And then the summer came and it was hot.
Bruh. Dang. You know what? We still kind of low key have that issue. Our AC, we put in a $10,000 AC and that thing does not keep up with the heat, man.
Yeah. I remember, right? And that's something that's unforeseen.
Yeah.
The cost and all the chairs, and then like windows get broken, and like I remember somebody like stole equipment, like so there's all this like liability that happens. There's the management, and I feel like even like as of late, man, I feel what's more valuable is like finding a place that you can cut hair at without all the liability. Like just going into a place, leveraging the brand, leveraging the venue, leveraging the clientele, and stacking up your dough, right? Because so for those of you listening too, right? So I'm going to ask you this, right? Like the business was definitely generating income while you've been gone for the year. However, with a barbershop, there's a cap.
Yeah.
There's only so much that one location can grow, right? Unless you start really like, and it just depends on how much effort you want to put in, right? Because if you wanted to sell products and a bunch of other stuff, it's fine, but it's kind of like running two different businesses at that point, right? So, for those of you who are considering opening up a barbershop,
this is what I would say to that.
Okay.
Is if you want to open up a barbershop, I would encourage you to take up the management position and run completely 100% somebody else's barbershop for a year and see if that's something that you can see yourself doing long term for your own account.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Because then you learn on someone else's dime.
Yep.
All the mistakes can be made there, right? And then you're not liable. That's actually like how I learned business myself, right?
Yeah.
Like I worked for other people before I became.
I actually had that. I actually said that same thing to learn on somebody else's dime. That's actually where I got it from you.
Mm-hmm. I think it's it's very underrated. I think everybody just wants to hop straight into entrepreneurship, but it's like go run the books for somebody. Go.
I've had I think that I can think of off the top of my head. I've had two barbers that have left, opened up, and one of them ended up coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That I can think of, but it's not easy.
Oh, you've had multiple barbers leave. Like I remember, like there was
that came back though.
Oh, okay, that came back.
Yeah, that came back and was like, all right, hold on.
Yeah, and also too, like guys, something that I can say, like from my perspective, right, like because I got to see this whole development of the barbershop, being Efren's brother, and especially at the beginning, I was really involved. But I remember there was these four guys, and I'm not going to name names, but they became very buddy. They became best friends at the barbershop, and then they basically as a barber renting a chair, you are a contractor, right? Or you are not an employee. You're not a W-2 employee.
Right.
You're renting a chair. So these guys ultimately they wanted all the benefits of being a contractor, right? You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to show up when I want. I'm going to charge my prices or whatever. But they also wanted to be treated like employees, right?
And they wanted employee benefits.
They wanted employee benefits. So it's like these guys. There was really no way to make them happy, and it was hilarious because they eventually went on to open up their own barbershop, right? And then, because obviously, like, there's a lot of times where you're in situations with, like, guys who you feel like are your friends. And then, they went to go open up their own barbershop, and then eventually they all split up, right?
Yeah.
And it was not, like, a happy split up for some of them.
Yeah, I don't know the full details on the aftermath of that. But to their defense, I was a douche. I was a douche, but I also was trying to run business, right?
Yeah.
And they ended up going to open up their own spot, and I didn't wish nothing bad on them, because at the end of the day, like,
No, but the way that they did things was pretty grimy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they did things in a way where it's like, it's funny because like it was funny to see them do it, and then just a few months down the line, like karma, right?
Yeah, it just wasn't gonna work. It was like 5 owners for one. But everybody's got to see it for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm actually still good friends with one of them. The other ones, like, I'm at peace with. I say what's up with them. I don't have nothing against them. There's no bad blood on my end. And some people just gotta try it and whatnot.
Yeah, but the point is this though, right? It's like, okay, coming back to what F was saying about running somebody else's barbershop for a full year, like that, the value that you're gonna get is so through the roof. I remember you had like another young guy who, like, he was the manager of the shop, and he learned a lot, right? I don't know I ended up seeing him later at another barbershop. He might own his own, I don't know, but the point is like, people don't realize, like, okay, if you go straight into opening up your own barbershop with no experience, it might take you.
The risk gets bigger. Like, it's already a risk,
Yeah.
right? And you just made it that much bigger by not having any experience of managing another shop.
Exactly.
Running,
So coming back to like what I was saying though, if this is from the outside perspective, right? Because if we rewind, if you take all the effort, all the hustle, everything that you put into this barbershop for the last, what's been a decade?
Almost 8 years in August.
For the last 8 years. Okay. So let's assume that instead of putting 8 years of effort into a barbershop, you put 8 years of effort into a landscaping company or a cleaning company or some other company that was just unlimitedly scalable, no cap, right? You would probably have at least a $10 million business right now.
Probably.
Right. So this is something too for barbers who are like wanting to have that barbershop. Like, in my opinion, if you want that barbershop so you have like a place to hang out, that's a great idea. Like, I remember when Barbers Inc. put up their first barbershop, they had like the pool table. It was lit. It was player. Yeah. Like, everybody just wanted to go to hang out because it was like a hangout spot. So to me, if you ultimately want to have like a hangout spot, it's a great business, great investment. Otherwise, as a barber, I personally think that you should be living as frugal as you possibly can and stack up your dough so you can go invest it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. So that's.
Yeah. If I could, man, I'd probably just rent a chair and get that money that I'm making and look for assets to buy. Find ways to invest. Real estate being a really good one. Right, like Ty Lopez, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I heard.
Sure, Ty Lopez.
He says
he's been away for a year, guys, so he knows
I forgot his name. But he says, well, they're not making any more land, so might as well buy some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And that's very true, right? You can't make more land. The more it sales, it's gonna be the demand's gonna be high and the supply is gonna be low, which is gonna cause the price to skyrocket, right? But you can even start off with like a Roth IRA. An IUL life insurance.
Those living benefits too. Like those things are no joke.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying though, right? Especially if you are in a market like San Jose, New York, San Diego, San Francisco, where people are paying premium prices for haircuts. Okay, because again, guys, like me personally, my our haircuts with tip. So for me and Angel. It's $60 per haircut, right? So that's $120 a week, $240. Yeah. So just okay, $500, right? I said 600 earlier. It's probably closer to 500. Two clients bringing you $500 a month. Like, the numbers are kind of ridiculous when you think about like how much money barbers are making nowadays, especially if you're good. You make the money in this market and then you go invest it in other markets. Because like I know when you guys started buying property, it wasn't here in the Bay.
No.
Where was it?
Redding, Sacramento. When I met Anais, she already had one and two in Redding, and then we bought a restaurant together with her dad. Mm-hmm. We bought a house in Sacramento. I think we only put 13 or 10 down on the Sac house. Mm.
Hey, which one of you barbers can put up 13 racks? Like, come on.
Yeah, they got it.
They
should have it.
Yeah,
they should at least.
And also, too, if you barbers want to become real estate agents, hit up Anais, Efren's wife, with Be Legit Books bookkeeping, because if you want to become a real estate investor, if you want to buy a new car and you don't want to put it under your mama's name, you need to pay your damn taxes.
Pay your taxes, and that's a whole another rabbit hole that we can go down too. But I before I left, I did see that people were starting to talk about these things, which is good, you know, because only reason why we were able to buy that I was able to buy my first house with my wife was because I started paying my taxes back when I was 24, and I bought my first house when I was 27. And I remember my dad was like, nah, just save up your cash, and I was like, like my goal is different, right? Because my goal was to purchase a house, and I knew that if I needed to purchase my house, or if I wanted to purchase my house, I needed to be able to show that paper trail.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Which you probably should. I don't advise you to not pay your taxes.
Yeah.
So because I did that, and I didn't even know if I was going to buy it anytime soon. Yeah. But I knew I eventually wanted to make my next investment a house, and I knew what came with it. So that was a blessing too, because we were able to 13 grand. Let's say, I think it was 10, but let's say it was 13. Yeah. Right. That's still winning. You know,
100%.
Like we bought it for 13, at 265. I think 3 years later we sold it. 2 or 3 years later we sold it for, I remember we made 100 grand.
You made 100 grand,
right? You know, or 90 or something like that.
Without really having to do anything.
Our right? Take home, like that was what we brought.
So basically, like you think about it, right? Like, so you put in 13, you know, eventually you walk away 100, right? Did you guys have to pay taxes on that 100?
That's a question for my wife.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's just
sure
assume,
we did though.
Let's just assume in a perfect world you have 100, right? And you know, those other 3 years while you've been working, you know, let's say you're able to stack it up. Dude, like as a barber, if you can keep, you know, especially like guys, don't be dumb and go move out of your parents' house if you got a good thing with your parents.
Oh, man.
If your mom's cooking for you every day, if she's doing your laundry, you know, she's still treating you like a baby boy. Because a lot of these Bay Area Latino boys got that special fucking treatment from their mamas.
I ain't even mad at them though.
I'm not mad at them either. That's what I'm saying. Just stay there. Like, what are you doing? Especially if you're paying little to no rent. You know, keep your $1,500 per month fucking expenses and make, you know, 12 grand a month. Dude, you do that math over a year, like you're able to do what, like, dude, that's like 100 grand in savings a year.
Yeah, you can say some serious dough, man. If you really put in work and are disciplined. Do you remember how I saved up? My little method, little madness of $100.
Oh, well, dude, here's the thing with you. I who taught you how to save? Was it your dad?
Possibly, but I remember that I just wanted something when I was in 5th grade. My babysitter, Miss Debbie, she would pay me $3 a week to come home from elementary school, drop off my backpack, go back, and just walk the rest of the kids back from daycare. You know, from school to daycare, right? Yeah. And I remember I've always been into shoes, so I was saving up for these $60 shoes, K-Swiss at the time, and I would just save it. Grandpa would give us $3 on the Sundays, right? So I was like, all right, cool, 3 here, and you know what I mean. So I think it's about putting the carrot in front of yourself, and which is the goal.
Yeah. Right? This is because I think, like, oh my man, you've always had that skill of saving, but it was instilled in you, right, through your through the people that are around you, right? Yeah,
for sure.
But anyway, and
that's why we talk about these things, because it's not like, especially Latinos, like we're kind of I don't know if this is good to say, but we're kind of financially illiterate. Like we are, you know what I'm saying? Dude,
like generally speaking, okay. So for the longest time I was looking at my clientele. I'm like, man, my clientele is white and Asian. Why is my clientele white and Asian? Because
mine eventually became like, it became different from the homies to professionals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's where, you know, because eventually you raise your prices, and as a barber, when you raise your prices, a lot of your clients leave you. Yeah. They're like, I ain't paying the extra $10 or $20, whatever.
No, naturally.
Yeah. And when, you know, like when I started doing business, like why does Outsource Plug, you know, why do we have white and Asian clients? Well, because in order for like you to be a good Outsource Plug client, you're already doing over $1 million ideally $5+ million a year. You already have payroll. You already have other employees. You have systems, processes, right? Like all these things that are like, I'll call it like legal minded, right? Like these people are running legit businesses. They want to pay their taxes. They want to have HR, right? But when you talk to a lot of Latinos, they're like trying to do cash businesses, or they're not thinking in a way where like, oh, I'm going to hire somebody. And like a lot of people don't understand, like, okay, when you're paying somebody cash and you pay them $20 per hour, that's only $20 per hour that they make because it's cash. But as soon as you move to, to a legal business, then $20 per hour is the money that you're paying them. Plus, you have to pay taxes on that $20 per hour. Plus, you're also paying for benefits. Plus, you're also paying
workman's comp and insurance and
right. So then that $20 per hour eventually becomes $25 or $27 per hour, right? But Latinos will never. They don't think that, right? No. Like they don't. But also, like, again, if you want, my business, I was so mad when because I had always been striving towards having my business be legit like this. Yeah. And I remember at the time,
especially from where we came from.
Yeah, dude, it's
right?
It's nice, bro. I have my taxes right here. If the IRS or the government walks in and is like, we're gonna see your books, go ahead, because everything's legit, right? Be legit bookkeeping, guys. Hit up on Ais at Be Legit.
Yeah. Be legit.
Yeah. You have to have a bookkeeper. You have to do this. But like, I remember, like, dude, sometimes I'd be wondering, like, when we were younger, like, hey, is somebody listening into our phones?
Yeah.
Because like, guys, we used to move a lot of weight, and when we were younger. And for those of you who don't know, that's how Outsource Plug got his name, right? Because when it's funny because like like people who don't know, they're like, oh, Outsource Plug, okay, yeah, I get it. You connect people with companies. Oh, you plug them in, connect. Oh, okay, get it. Yeah, but I was also the plug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like where that's where Outsource Plug comes from. So it's got a double meaning.
Yeah.
But coming back to being legit, like, yeah, dude, we're not worrying if people are listening to our calls. We're not worrying about all this stuff because. Man. Right, so the freedom that you get when you truly are legit, man, it's undescribable.
Yeah,
really,
for real. I remember that, man. Like that was one of the reasons why I did open up my shop was like I was like, man, I can't.
Oh, yeah, you were a garage barber, yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't keep living in my rearview mirror, man. Mm-hmm. I slept in my parents' garage with a shotgun. I don't know if you knew that. My Uncle Robert gave me that.
Yeah, I remember the shotgun.
Just
R.I.P. Uncle Robert.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's definitely like a breath of fresh air. You ain't got to trip on. You're doing everything legit. So, and not just that. It's a good challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, how can I make myself legit? So that I ain't gotta stress nobody. Mm-hmm. I don't gotta worry about this person walking in. Is it state board? Is it IRS? Is it the state? You're tagged up. You're good.
Yeah, I remember. I remember like when state board came through and you had like three barbers with no licenses. It's like, damn.
Matter of fact, it was probably the whole man. Out of 14 chairs, it was probably like 10.
I remember the day that they came through. Like, damn.
Yeah, we got tagged. I think three barbers or two.
Yeah, I remember like the barber's trying to negotiate like, bro, I'll get my license like in a month. You can't give me a break or nothing. The dude's like, nah.
Man.
Yeah. Oh God. So coming back to like Latinos and financial literacy, right? So yeah, I agree. Latinos generally, right, and I'm speaking generally because not everybody. Some of y'all's family are second, third generation wealthy, but that's not us. Okay. So I'm speaking for most Latinos. We don't come from financially literate families. So now it's like, okay, I always feel like, you, me, Amalia, we're like the three that have been trying to break away from the mold more than anybody else in our family. Yeah. We're the three entrepreneurs who have successfully sustained ourselves building businesses. We don't have jobs anymore, right? I don't know of anybody else in our generation that has hit that level.
On my mom's side, no.
On my mom, sure. I don't know about your dad's side.
Right.
I don't know about that side. But also, like your dad's side of the family, I would argue that your dad's side of the family is like actually way more hustle, way more of hustlers than mom's side.
Yeah, for sure.
But coming back, but my company's bigger than most of those. There's Family Feud. But no. You know, it's funny. I got that chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I got that chip on my shoulder. I always remember, I was looked down upon by that side of the family, your dad's side, and for a while he was like an idol to me, you know. And I remember when that happened, I'm like, all right,
there's some wounds there. Yeah.
I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna be more successful than anybody in your family. Period. It doesn't matter. I haven't thought about that in a long time. But you know what, dude? If you know, chips on shoulders. If they're important.
If you grab them and like leverage them, right, versus letting them, you know, take you down the wrong path, like it could be good, man.
Yeah. No, I think you know, Brandon, my business partner, he really knows how to like get me going in terms of like he knows like I'm very motivated by like you can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's very
reverse psychology.
Yeah, he reverse, and it's funny because like I forget that he's doing it all the time, right? And I just get so mad, and I'm like, fuck that, I could do that, right? and then I end up doing it. So, but anyways, guys, so I guess like, you know, I want to start closing out because this podcast did go a little bit longer than most, but you know, closing out again, man. There's somebody out there who is thinking about giving up. They're maybe
might know somebody that's struggling, and it doesn't necessarily. It could be alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you got life controlling issues, my goal, and I share this with my wife, is that I just want to be the plug of resources. Like when I come out, go to these organizations that are already, like, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, right? Go and make connections, build those bridges. Like, hey, I'm Efren. This is what I'm doing. I'm going out to the streets. I'm vocalizing. Like, if anybody needs help, mental help, whatever, hit me up. I'll point you in the right direction. I already have the interview process done, meaning like I'll know how this particular organization wants their interview process, right, and what's their requirements and what not to get into this.
I'm gonna get you in. We're gonna get you in.
We're gonna get you ready so that once their bed opens up or you know, a slot opens up for a counseling session, whatever, boom, we already did everything. Bet.
Yep.
You need financial help, boom. You need housing. I got this person. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to own anything. I just want to be the plug of like, you need help, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I know a person. Right?
Yeah. No, dude, that's great.
Eventually, my wife and I are gonna make some bracelets with the phone number. It's just a phone number. Whenever you're ready on it, it's going to read whenever you're ready or need help, call. Yeah. And that's it. Doesn't matter what time it is, you know, and we'll figure out how to help people and get people off the street. Because a lot of times, my stepmom, she's the one that found my first program. Yeah. And had she not done that, I probably wouldn't have looked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Which is really good, right? That she did that, right? Because I think again, She I think a lot of people were probably in denial, right? Like, you know, they thought like, oh, nothing's wrong, or he'll make it through this, right? But she was like, she had that insight where it's like, okay, y'all are too emotional.
yeah. She man, I'm grateful for her, man. Yeah. That she found that first program, one of the 5 that I've been to, and I say that because, you know, we fall, we get back up, we fall, we get back up, and we keep it pushing, you know, and keep fighting the good fight. But she founded my first program, and had she not done that, I wouldn't have looked. I would have been like, this mountain's way too big for me. I'm just going to give up right here and die on this mountain. Right. You know, but she was like, nah, like, let's find your first program. She got the ball rolling on my first program, and that's when that kind of was like, okay, there is help out there. Yeah. I don't have to live this life. You know. Yeah,
and for those of you who know somebody who wants to commit suicide, call 911.
That stuff's real,
call
man.
911.
It's real.
Yeah, but I love that, man. So you're going to be a resource. So like, let's say somebody's listening to this, they want to get a hold of you. What's the best way to reach out to you?
You know, I don't have a line of communication at this time, but after August 20th. You can hit up my Instagram. You can text my phone 408-460-7307. And, you know, when I get my phone, I'll reach out you know, and help point you in the right direction, you know, because you know we all need help, and that's okay. I grew up being independent, and from a Mexican background, that was like, no, I'm macho, I'm prideful, and I'm not gonna ask for help. I got this, right? But you know, God's humbled me and helped me realize, like, I can't take on the world. I can't do this by myself. I need people. You know what I'm saying? I need help, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's okay to ask for help. We all need it.
Well, guys, that's F. Appreciate anybody who's listened up to this point. You know, hope God blesses you all. And if this episode impacted you, just make sure you share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Y'all take care.
God bless y'all.